Hi everyone, hope you're doing well. My name's Tom from KnitSlips. I thought I'd have a little look back through this year of my Instagram. I've just got myself a new microphone because hopefully in the new year I am planning on doing a kind of podcast. So I thought I'd give it a go and try it out. More information about the podcast will come probably early January. I'm still just trying to work things out at the moment, but yeah, keep an eye out for that. So yeah, I thought let's have a little look. I believe this one here, 1st of Jan. Yep. So this was my first post back on the 1st of January. This is Mango, our kind of neighbour's cat. Actually, she is sleeping right next to me right now, as I'm recording this. And she comes and sleeps with us quite a bit every now and again. At the time of this photo, we didn't know that we can have any animals at all, so we welcomed Mango coming and joining us every now and again. The thing that I was working on, that Mango is sitting on, was actually meant to be a jumper. I bought some. I bought a blanket from Primark. This like hand knitted blanket, and I thought, oh well, let's see if I can turn it into something else. Because chunky wool is quite expensive, and I thought, well, this is a cheaper way of like just experimenting. So I started making what was going to be a very, very chunky and cozy jumper. But Mango kept sleeping on it, so I ended up that I kind of changed my idea of what it's going to be and kind of didn't have to take it back too far. I basically had done the body, but what I did was stitch it up, so you can kind of see here, and this one here. I kind of stitched up around the back and the side and turned it into a little cat bed. And there she is, just chilling on a little bed. This is also back when I didn't have an amazing camera as well. I didn't really take great photos of low light. We have since got rid of that blanket. Just lots of use. It's quite hard to wash. We tried washing it and it was just, the wool just kind of fell apart a little bit, so we decided to just get rid of it, and we've got her a new bed since, so she's still nice and cozy when she comes and joins us. Okay, and then the next project I started working on was I had a load of this bonus super chunky wool that I picked up from Hobbycraft. It's a nice little wool. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with it when I first got it, but I picked it up possibly in a sale. I don't think I said, but I thought let's give another jumper a go, and then here you can see that I also got some different colours in the same wool. In my head, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this kind of cardigan with different colours, but in my head, I don't know. I had a completely different idea. I think the colours were a little bit more muted when I was thinking about it, and then when I started knitting it, I realised the colours were actually quite colourful, and it just didn't do what I wanted. It didn't look how I wanted it to look. So I ended up taking it off and then started knitting it up a bit more. Some more lovely photos of Mango, and this was the finished cardigan, which I ended up taking it apart. It's just a little test, and I quite liked it. I made notes on how I put it together. And then the next project I got was this Lil's Hill wool from Wool and the Gang, which was a really nice wool that I quite enjoyed. It was a lot thinner than I expected. When I ordered it online, you don't really know how thick the wool's going to be as such, so I picked it up, and yeah, it's a lot thinner than I thought, but it's a really good quality wool. It's used from 100% recycled yarn as well. I'm guessing it's like the off bits from Wool and the Gang that they don't know what to do with. They've just turned it into another wool that they can sell at a premium price. But yeah, this was a really nice project that I started working on. I started doing bubble stitch. That was like when bubble stitch was starting to come really, really popular. So I had an idea of what I wanted to do. Again, most of my projects that I do start off in my head. I kind of make a few little drawings, work out the sizing that I want to do, and then I start just knitting it. I'll make notes normally as I go along, but I don't normally follow much of a pattern or anything. Mango was with us a lot. She's started to come back again now that she's a bit more comfortable with Mocha. And yeah, this photo was taken not long after my birthday, the 14th of February. There you go. This tattoo over here, this new one, this mask, that was a birthday present from my lovely girlfriend Joy. I really like Japanese art, and I've got one sleeve that is kind of getting more full with some Japanese kind of tattoo artwork. And it was, a lovely day. We went over to Brighton. We went over for a weekend, basically. And this was just before the whole madness, which we won't go into. And there is that jumper. I think I called it the mermaid jumper because, for me, the bubble stitch kind of looks a little bit like scales. So you kind of got the scales and then the body on top. But I really enjoyed making this jumper. The next project that I started working on was this one. I used one of the gang's Crazy Sexy Wool in emerald green. This project was really fun because I actually submitted it to the Herbert Art Gallery in Coventry. They were doing this exhibition called the Coventry Open, which they do, I think, every year, where local artists can submit their work. And I thought it'd be fun to submit a piece of knitting, because I personally think handmade items such as jumpers and cardigans and stuff is like a piece of art. It's a lot of time gets put into it, and I started this project. Again, I just had an idea that I kind of wanted to use a few different techniques. I didn't want it to be overwhelming, but I kind of wanted to show off a little bit. So here I am, knitting it at work, knitting at home. Little Mango's face, again, just popping up. And here it is. So this is the kind of like when I was at home, just about finishing. So the piece was called Unraveling Masculinity. As a guy, I get a lot of comments of like, "Oh, you're a guy that knits." My girlfriend actually came up with the title, which I really liked. The arms were all finished and stitched on, and then the body was working from the top, working down. And I kind of stopped about halfway and had the ball of wool kind of just dangling down, because it was meant to look like it was unraveling from the bottom. And then here it is, actually at the gallery. So yeah, here I am with my piece. Unfortunately, this only kind of got to go in the exhibition for maybe about 2 weeks, because not long we went into a national lockdown and we weren't able to. No one was able to see it. Since then, though, it has been put on a Google Art exhibition. So if you do go onto the Herbert Art Gallery website, you can find the exhibition online. So you can still see. So in a way, the lockdown kind of helped the exhibition a little bit, because now it's online. More people can go and see it. Unfortunately, people weren't really able to go and see it for real. But I still have it. Still thinking about finishing it off and completing it into an actual cardigan that I can wear. So this was my next project that I started working on. Again, using one of the Gans Crazy Sexy Wool. I think it was a kind of lilac powder and then a white as well. And this was a jumper that I created for my girlfriend, because she fancied something in this Crazy Sexy Wool. And we really liked the colour combination. So I did a honeycomb stitch for the arms and then just a simple body. I quite like doing that, having a bit more of a pattern on the arms and then the body being quite simple. So this is the Love Me Honey sweater, which you can buy on my Etsy as well. You can also talk to me as well and I can make it fit you, but it's basically a kind of crop top jumper with a honeycomb pattern stitch for the arms. From here, we're still in kind of lockdown, so this is where I started doing a couple of videos. So I made a little video about a French press. Yeah, it's just a little fun video that I thought I'd make. I had some fabric which I picked up, again, literally just before lockdown. I popped into IKEA, which was still open at the time. It was probably the day or so just before lockdown. I managed to go to IKEA and pick up some of this beautiful fabric. Unfortunately, I only got a couple of meters of it. I should have got more, because IKEA was meant to be closing down this year, and unfortunately because of lockdown, that was the last time we were able to go in. It closed down while we were while lockdown was kind of happening. So I don't know if I'll be able to get this fabric because you can't really order the fabric online. But made another couple of videos how I got into knitting. If you haven't seen that, I talk about the reason why I started knitting. I think it's quite a good video. It's had a few views. Also, kind of luckily because of lockdown, I was able to pick up old projects that I started and gave up on or stopped. And this grey jumper here was one of them. I tried knitting it quite a while ago. I wanted to kind of have a bit of a poofy sleeve. Basically, the top just kind of got completely messed up. I don't really know how or really what I was doing. This jumper I started years and years ago, so I ended up having to take it back quite a bit, re-knit it. But yeah, it did kind of look like I had like kind of 80 shoulder pads, which was quite funny. So yeah, I ended up cutting a good chunk of the top off in storage, and then this is what it looked like in the end, which I was really happy with. Works really, really well when I've got my dungarees on. And then we go into a couple of videos that I made. Really enjoy making videos and put them up there for you guys. Made a little video about mango. These are all on my IGTV if you want to go and check them out. Decided to try and make a face mask with that lovely fabric that I got. And then I think most people who have got Netflix and didn't know what else to do in lockdown got obsessed with Tiger King. So again, I was just kind of loved the documentary. It's absolutely mad. And I kind of got inspired. I picked up all of my kind of old wool that was this from Hobbycraft, because it's just a really nice, it was fairly cheap and it was just a nice wool. And I picked it up and I decided to have a go at designing my own Tiger King. So this was the first attempt. I hadn't really worked with like too many colours before, so the face got really scrunched up and really wasn't happy with it. So I ended up taking it back quite a bit, and then this is the sweater I made. And on the back I weaved in some of the yarn and made this mullet as well, which I thought was quite funny, because that's one of the main characteristics of the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. And I made these like kind of tiger print pattern. I ran out of red, so I thought the pink would work really well because Joe Exotic really liked that kind of hot pink. So I thought that worked really well. Yeah, this is the sweater. I still am thinking about turning it into a pattern of some kind. I don't really know how I would do that, but very much welcome some ideas from you guys. This is the next sweater. It's like a vest that I made. This wool that I picked up was again from Wool and the Gang. Wool and the Gang got a lot of money from me this year. So it's recycled jean material, and I had these two different colours, and it was quite fun. It does say on the thing that it's not meant to leak, or like the colour's not meant to like fade, but I ended up having quite blue hands when I was knitting this up. But yeah, again, I just kind of wanted to experiment with patterns. If you see here, I just did plain stocking here, and then did a kind of weave, which was, I actually quite enjoyed it. It was quite fun once you kind of get into it. And then this kind of cross hatch kind of pattern, which once I started knitting it and got into the groove of it, but it was quite confusing. I made myself a little chart to try and work out what I was doing. So this is how it turned out. I think it worked out pretty well, although I think if I was going to remake it, I would shape the kind of arm a bit more, because it kind of just hangs off. And then this was quite a big kind of thing that was happening in the knitting world. I think most people tried it. So I had some of this fabric yarn that I picked up from Tiger, and I made some kind of cloths that we actually use in the house every now and again. More so use them for dusting. They're quite good little dust cloths. But yeah, eco-friendly kind of handmade cloths were quite a popular thing. Love to know if you made any. So this next section, so this video that I made, what does it say? 29 weeks ago. The property that we live at had this kind of like unit that the landlord originally wanted to build another house on, and it's just had some fence panels on it for the entire time we've been there, which was just over a year at this point. Yeah, it was just a space that was just wasted, and we had been talking about getting a dog for quite a while. We thought, well, let's turn this little spot into a little green space for when we get a dog. So that's what we did, and I made a little video about it. In fact, there's two videos if you want to go and check them out. This pink sweater that I made my girlfriend, I actually started pretty much when I started knitting. It was a long time ago. It's got quite big poofy sleeves, and again, it's kind of a crop top, but it's something that I started and realised I didn't really like thin wool, so I put it down. So yeah, I managed to finish it off, and this is little Mocha when she's very, very young. Because I had so much of the wool left over, I thought I would give crochet a go. Something I kind of wanted to try but didn't really know how. I watched a couple of videos on Instagram and kind of figured, oh, maybe I could give it a go. So I made this little blanket that you can see here. Still much prefer knitting than crochet. So this was a little blanket that Mocha still has. We don't really give it to her that often just because she likes to chew on blankets and things, and I don't really want her to chew on this yet. And then, oh yeah, this, I had so much of this wool, I don't know, it just didn't end. I think I've still actually got a little bit left. And I turned it into a little doggy jumper for Mocha, which she's kind of grown into, and this jumper turned out way too big. So I kind of stitched up some of the sides so I could make it a little bit bigger in the future. But this is it. It looks really cute on her. Made more things with this wool. Made a little poo bag holder for her, which is quite handy. And then here are just some of the photos that I took of some of the projects that I had and worked on. And then this was a project that I'm still incredibly proud of and very happy about. I actually got messaged by someone from Wool in the Gang to ask if I would take part in their new men's range. I jumped on the chance. So they sent me a sweater kit. I was able to choose from two, and I went for this one here, which was the Boys Are Back. Really, really nice project that I worked on. Although I ended up running out of wool and they had to send me some more. I don't know whether my sizing was off. The first time I made it, it was absolutely massive. And as I was kind of knitting it for the first time, I was like, I'm not sure if this might be a bit too big. But then sometimes oversized things do turn out quite nice. So yeah, this was the first time around I made it, and as you can see, it was absolutely massive. I think it was partly my fault. I think when they originally asked me what size I would want to go for, they gave me some measurements, and I don't think the measurements they weren't right, the ones that they gave me and then the ones in the book. And I was so excited about making it, I didn't really double check the measurements in the actual booklet. So I made the large, and it was very large. So, and I didn't want to make any tweaks or alterations because I wanted to just knit it up as it says in the booklet. This is the sweater that was a bit too big. And then after that, this was after the first lockdown. Yeah, we went down to Cornwall. We were able to take Mocha down with us as well. This was a lovely plant, which unfortunately has died since we got it. But we got it from Cultivate Interiors, which is down in Cornwall. An amazing little plant shop run by Emily, who's just wonderful. Definitely give her a follow if you haven't already, if you like plants. And if you're down in Cornwall, definitely go and check her out. She's got lovely stuff. This post here was a kind of collaboration that I did with these awesome headphones, which I use quite often, to be honest. They're kind of my go-to headphone if I'm walking to work, or sometimes if I'm just doing housework. So yeah, this is the jumper when it was remade. Still a little bit oversized, but it fitted so much better. Mocha's wearing her little jacket because she got spayed, so she had to have, rather than having the cone of shame, we got her this. Looked stylish and was way more comfortable for her. A few more plants, and then this was the next project that I worked on. The new range that one of the gang had brought out was really good, but quite simple. And I understand that they want to try and help get men into knitting a bit more. But there are still quite a few men that do like to knit and would prefer something a bit more complicated or a bit more of a challenge. So I thought I'd do that. At this point, I was furloughed, so I didn't really have much money. So I ended up taking apart that grey cardigan, which was at the beginning of the year, and using it, because I thought the wool was similar kind of weight, but it turns out it wasn't. really the wool on the gang with a much lighter wool. So I would like to make this again and fully make it a wool on the gang in the future. You can kind of see the wool on the gang wool looks a little bit more defined and just a little bit better than the hovercraft wool. And this was the sweater. So I called it Dancing in the Moonlight because I kind of based it off the One on the Gang, Boys Are Back. And for me, when I say or hear Boys Are Back, it makes me think of Thin Lizzy, Boys Are Back in Town. So in my head, I just kind of wanted to kind of go with that theme. I don't know. I don't think that's where the Boys Are Back came from. Yeah, so Dancing in the Moonlight is kind of one of my favourite Thin Lizzy songs, so that's where the name came from, just in case you were wondering. And then this is kind of my last project that I've done over the year, was I picked up this wool. I asked you guys what colours you think I should go for, and you guys helped out. There was 2 colours I think that I knew I wanted. I wanted the white, and I really like the kind of Merlot red. And I ended up choosing these 4 colours for a new range of hats that I wanted to make, because I was going to go to a market over at Fargo Village in Coventry. We weren't able to do a physical market because of the restrictions around COVID, and we ended up just doing an online market, which for me wasn't particularly successful. I did not get to sell many things at all. But so it does mean that I will be doing a kind of January sale. So if you are interested in buying any hats or any of these one-off jumpers, I actually did kind of sell this one to a friend. But I was also making dog biscuits, so I made a video about the Christmas dog biscuits I've made. Actually, there's quite a fun project that I will be working on in the new year. Another creator, which I'm hoping to get on my podcast. Yeah, hopefully there's a new project going to come out in 2021. So definitely keep an eye out for that. So yeah, that has been my year of 2020. Just want to say thank you to everyone who follows me, all the likes I get, all the comments I get. I really do appreciate it. This community is amazing. It does sometimes baffle me when I do hear people moan about social media and how toxic it can be, and I'm sure it can be. But for me, this community has been amazing. Everyone seems to be very supportive of each other. If anyone gets stuck with anything, people are very there to help out. And I'm very proud of this community of knitters and grafters and creators. Yeah, thank you very much everyone for watching. I know it's been a tough year. 2021 is still probably going to be fairly tough. Yeah, let's look after each other and let's stay safe. And I will see you in the new year. Have a great one, everyone.